the pudding, and the pudding in this case is a football. Boom! Eat my goal! The goalie has got football pie all over his shirt.
Welcome to this episode of the Down the Pub podcast. On this episode, I am joined by Wanderers' new player, your left back. I think Patrice said you can also play midfield, you can play winger, so multi-talented Ryan James. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, really excited. I know there's a lot of buzz around the city with you coming in here, obviously with your experience in the USL and stuff like that. So we're really excited to have you here. So we usually just kick off with a couple of easy questions, get you in the swing of things, and then we'll get into the kind of main part of it. So what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I should have practiced my answers before camera. I do watch a lot of movies, but I like the Top Gun Maverick this year.
Nice.
So I do watch a lot of movies throughout the year. So I usually go based on the previous year that just happened. So Top Gun Maverick was my favorite this year.
It's a very good choice. So if somebody said to you, cook me dinner, cook me anything, what would be the dish you would cook?
Oh, shepherd's pie.
Oh, love it.
You'd fall in love with me. Easy.
Love it. The player you model yourself after?
I think Marcelo is a great person to role model myself and watch play to help myself grow. And I also like Iniesta, but those are great people to watch and mimic and kind of learn from them.
So basically, we're going to get to see Marcelo and Iniesta in one player this year. Is that what you're saying to us?
If you can hold off with the podcast for a little bit, I just want people to see it on the field first,
I'll cut that bit out and then release it later on. So just get into the main kind of part of the question. So in the press release for your move to Halifax, Patrice said you were the first player he called when he got the Halifax job. What did he say to you, and what is the connection you guys have?
It was just a very, very easy conversation, just kind of touching base. The season had just ended for myself, and he's coached in Vaughan, as sure as a lot of people know, and I used to play growing up in Mississauga, so that's pretty close to Vaughan, and our paths definitely crossed. So I think it's one of those things where I'm Canadian and he's Canadian, and we've kind of been in the same area and two successful people, and it's nice to connect and just kind of say, hey, this is my plans for the future, and I see really good things happening, and if you want to be a part of this, that would be amazing. I think you would fit in really well, and let's just connect and see where your head's at. And it was just kind of a touch base, see where my mind is at and see where he's at, and it was nice. I'm happy that he initiated the call and we got chatting.
You've obviously been in the USL for like the past 5-6 years, I think it is, maybe a little bit longer. So what's why now the decision to come back to Canada?
It's Nova Scotia as well as it's a great province. My mother and my mother's side has some roots in Nova Scotia. It's a little bit further, Sydney area, but it'd be great to kind of play and live in an area where they kind of grew up and kind of see the background of your family and all that, and play in front of friends and family. And I'm really excited about that part. I think it's going to be a really special year. I'm very excited.
I love it. Sydney's a beautiful city, so it's going to be exciting to see some of your family in the stands. Obviously played in the USL, and it's a fairly new league. It's not like like as old as the MLS or anything like that. So what do you think the CPL can learn from the way that the USL has kind of grown over the past couple of years?
I think they're kind of on the same trajectory. They're both growing very, very quickly. And the quicker things grow, the more people see it, the more people want to be involved. And I think the CPL can expect more people to become more interested in a very quick time frame, because you can see as soon as a couple guys join and the level goes up and the intensity goes up, and you can see the competition for spots and everything increases, the league itself just becomes much better. And I think that's the trajectory that the CPL is on. And people are quickly realizing that the competition is there, and it's going to be a good league, and it is a good league, and it's growing very quickly. And before you know it, it'll be one of those leagues where you won't even remember that it only started a couple of years ago. It'll be, oh man, it'll just be the CPL is a good league compared to it's a good league to start. It'll just be a good league. No, when did it start, before or after, anything like that. So I think that's something that they can kind of look at and see how it's going and figure out, wow, this is how it's going to go, and they'll probably follow along the same steps, I'm sure, as the USL has kind of went along.
So did you see, like, with the USL, like from when you started to when you finished, the level of players was growing every year? Was it getting better and better? Did it kind of level out? Like, how did you find the progression yourself within the USL?
Yeah, I definitely felt that the level grew a little bit more every year, and budgets grow, and the competition gets better, and people grow as players as well. And you just, when you see someone else step up, it kind of raises the level of everyone. So I think that is as well happening. So guys that maybe they didn't see themselves playing at that level, when you surround yourself with players that are top level players, you also kind of grow a little bit, whether you see it or not. And I think that's what happened in the USL is certain players came in and they brought up the level of everyone, and those guys started to realize that they had to sharpen up every day, and every day turned into every week, and then every week turned into every month, and before you knew it, they were another level better, and that made the whole league better. So I think, yeah, every year I would say that you can kind of see from my first year in USL to my seventh year, I realized that, oh man, like it's getting harder and harder to win games. there's there's no easy games out here, where maybe in my very first year I'm like, oh, that's going to be an easy one maybe, and now I left and I'm like, oh man, that's not going to be an easy one. They're like, no, they're not even in the top four, and I'm like, they're still not. They're a good team. They're a good team.
Yeah, you can definitely see, like, with the CPL too. Like, I mean, from year one to, I guess, this is year 5 now. I don't think we would have been able to attract a player like yourself from the USL. Like, USL is a really good standard, so it's really exciting to see that we can attract talent like yourself in here. Is like, did you talk to any of your, like, friend? Like, I know that you've played with Nate Ingham and stuff like that. So did you talk to any of the guys, like, about moving back to the CPL and what they thought about the league?
I mean, even every off season, guys mix around, and you see family, and you start training with people all over the world and wherever you are for your off season. So I mix in and with a lot of the guys, and people are, I can tell them, I'm like, yeah, you look sharp, and I know you played in the CPL, and you talk, and they tell them how the competition is growing, and it is competitive day to day, and it's one of those things where if I'm training with you and I find myself having to be very competitive and raising my level, I know that the level in the CPL must be very good. Um, so yeah, you do find yourself mixing and talking about it and seeing and comparing and seeing how quickly it is growing from year to year from conversations.
So we have we have a very, just switching to the Wanderers a little bit. Obviously, we've had like a huge change over the off season. Stephen left, Patrice came in. We've seen a lot of players move on, a lot of players come in, and one of the things is that our backline is very young. And I talked to Jan Filion, who's obviously going to be our goalkeeper, and he said one of the things Patrice said to him was about helping out these young lads to kind of progress and move on. So, how will you look to kind of do the same, like, to help bring these guys along?
I think it's just a little bit of guidance. I've been in certain leagues, and it's not a it's not something you can always learn just by reading a book or just kind of watching a movie or something like that. It's something you have to go through, and you have to go through some of those heartbreaks and try certain things and fail at certain things. And there's no right answer to anything, but I think it's a little bit of knowledge through experience that I can give with the team this year and kind of lead them in that sense, and also just show it on the field as well. And I hope that I'm one of the guys that shows it up every day that yeah, this day wasn't good enough. We're gonna need to be better than this if we're gonna want to win the game on the weekend or the game during the weekend. Yeah, we're in the end of the season, and every point matters. It's not about the playoffs. We're not in the playoffs yet. It's about this game here and now. And I think sometimes you can lose track in a full season, and it's about staying on track and in the moment and week to week rather than looking sometimes at it as a big picture. So I think just giving a little guidance to guys and keep them on track throughout the year, because everyone's going to be used during the year. And I think as long as you can hold their focus in the right direction, this can be a great team.
So, who were the kind of players who helped guide you when you became a professional?
I have a couple guys that I know for sure. When I came in, there's a guy. His name is Canardo Forbes, and I definitely hope maybe he listens to this, maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but I definitely know he was one of the players that guided me. And I remember going there and coming back and telling my dad, I said, "Yo, all he wants me to do is pass the ball, and he's gonna do something with it. He doesn't want me to have the ball." And I realized as I passed him the ball and he started to trust me more, he kind of started to bring me under his wing and kind of talk to me more off the field and explain how he saw the game. And I think he's a great player. And I played with him in Rochester and Pittsburgh a little bit. And I think I've learned a lot from him. And he is very knowledgeable about the game, and not only about the game on the field, but outside the field and tactically and physically. And he's a skillful player that I take what he says and I use it moving forward, because I know how long he's been playing, and I see how other people look at him and how other coaches look at him and respect him. And I said, that's someone you should follow in the footsteps and kind of take what they're saying and bring it to your game and bring it to your life.
Hopefully, on another podcast, a couple of years down the road, somebody will be saying the same thing about you, man. That's really nice for someone to for you to say that about somebody. So Patrice has said that you can play on the wing or in midfield. Like, what attributes do you bring to each position, and what is your favorite position to play?
Yeah, definitely my favorite is center mid. I think you get on the ball so much. You're free. I have a great engine, and I love to run, and just to be on the ball is joyful. That's why people play for so long. You love playing, and I think you play the most in the middle. But I think versatility is such a important thing, especially this day and age of soccer. And I think that's something that I've learned from my brother and my dad growing up, that you should learn other positions. Don't be afraid to play center back. Don't be afraid to play winger. Don't be afraid to play top striker. Don't be afraid to play goalie. And I've tried all these positions growing up, and professionally, I think there's maybe only one position I haven't played. It's probably goalie. And there's throughout my career, I think I've started at least one game in every single position. And I think it's the trust of the coach that you have in you. And two, it's when you have certain skills, you can kind of apply it and read the game and know how to apply it in that certain position. And I think that's what I bring to the game. I learn very quickly, and I can understand what role the team needs from me today. And if the role is tuck in and be a ball player and pass the ball, then that's the role I do for the team. It's for the for the team, or it might be we need you to overlap and we need you to bust up and down the line. And I think I have the ability to adapt and be versatile in the moment, and it doesn't take me very long to switch, which is a very powerful tool and probably one of my best tools in my game.
Love it. I guess Jan should watch out this season then, huh? You're gunning for his position.
I honestly, yeah, I don't know. I only have the one left, so.
So, what has Patrice kind of told you? I'm not too sure if you saw too many Vaughan Missouri games like last year. Obviously, they scored a ton of goals. They didn't lose any games. So, what has he kind of told you about what he wants to do in terms of style of play and where he kind of sees you fitting into what he's trying to do?
Some people say momentum's a thing or momentum's not a thing, and I'm not sure where I stand on that. But definitely, last year was last year, and if you hold on to last year and you think that this is going to be you this year, or hold on to last year and you say, well, we won't be good next year because of last year, I think you'd be wrong, because it takes every day, and this year will definitely be different than last year. It won't be the exact same year. And I think as long as we follow the game plan, it will be good. And there hasn't been much said about the style of play and too much of that, and I'll leave that for Patrice to talk about. He knows he definitely has a plan, and I can tell he's being very thoughtful, and his direction of players and the style of play and what he wants from each player capability wise. And I think he's going to put it all together. I assume he has 1 or 2 or 3 good plans that he could move around pieces. And that's when I said the versatility comes into play, is because now he has not only one option maybe, but 2 styles of options, because he has the players to be able to produce that style of play.
So in the last couple of days, we've had a Wanderers under 18 camp and a Wanderers under 23 camp here in the city. Is that something you'd like to get involved with, like to kind of pass down, like, you know, as I know you've talked about the young players on the team, but is that something you'd like to get in there and help out with?
Yeah, I've definitely spoken, and I'm to Patrice that I'm taking my coaching license, and don't get me wrong, I want to play as long as my body can withstand a season, and I think I take pretty good care of my body, and I think I can still do the work that needs to be done, and not just for my age, but just in general. I think I can do the work, and I do want to get involved. I want to get into coaching in Halifax, and I like to get involved within the community, within coaching, and kind of immerse myself in the experience. And I think coaching and helping out around the community is a great way to learn the most and kind of connect with the fans that support you so much. And I think it really grows when they see you want to be involved. They want to be involved on the weekends, and you can feel the love in the stadiums. And I think that helps the atmosphere and kind of the passion for the players to want to win for their city and their community.
So, you know, like one of the big selling points here for Halifax is the Wanderers grounds and the fan experience. So have you heard much about it, and have you watched any videos of our games from like the last couple of years or anything like that? And how excited are you to play in front of the fans here?
Oh, I've heard very, very good things. I'm very, very excited. That's one of the top things people talk about, and it's one of those things where you'll love it. And it's usually pretty sweet and simple, just because there's usually no discrepancy between what people are saying. It's kind of just, oh yeah, you'll love it. And it's very simple and sweet, just because there's no other option for you, but you're gonna have to love it, because that's the only emotion you're gonna have. So I'm very, very excited, especially the way people talk, and from what I've seen.
So, you know, you kind of touched on there about your community spirit. I know that down in with your last team, you started an initiative. It was called When I Was Little. Can you tell us like how that came about, and what you do with that, and is it something that you'd like to bring to Halifax?
Yeah, so when I was little, uh, kind of started before COVID. I wanted to go to Jamaica, where my dad was born, and bring it to his school, high school, elementary school, and kind of give back to the community and encourage kids to continue their education and to get involved in soccer. I love the sport and it's given me so much. So I want to give back, but I also know education is very, very, very important where I want people to be knowledgeable and to think and be independent and to make decisions and continue to learn every day. And so it kind of started, and I came up with the name. I got a piece of paper from my dad and said, when I was little, I want to be a professional soccer player. I want to try to learn something every day. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And I wrote down a bunch of things, and I think I knocked off a bunch of those things. I definitely think my parents helped me write the list. It was a well written out, the letters and everything. I said, oh, that couldn't be me. I don't have the name right, but it was nice to see that there was a list of goals, and I think goal setting is very important for kids. And I definitely want to bring it to Halifax, and I want to do something there, just like I did this year. So I will definitely bring it to the club, and hopefully we can work something where we can help somewhere in the community and help some kids around Halifax where this will be beneficial for them, because I think it's very powerful not only to have a goal, but to kind of have someone encourage you to say it out loud and to have someone else listen to your goal. I want to own a hotel one day. And once you say it out loud, it becomes real. And someone heard you and I can keep you accountable. Hey, Trevor, I love that goal. And next year when you're coming to watch in 2024, I'm going to check on you, see if you have any more smaller goals to lead to your hotel. And it's almost really nice, I think, for children to hear and be like, I think he's gonna, mom, he's gonna check on me next year. He's gonna ask what I'm doing for my hotel dream, and it encourages you to think about it and not just say I want to be a professional soccer player. How are you gonna do it? What do you want to do? What do you think it's gonna take to do it? And how can you do something small every day to get closer to that dream? So I think it's important to just kind of be that role model and just be there for people in the community, because they're there for me on the weekend, and I think that can be a small moment in their life that can be kind of powerful.
So, how do you even go about starting an initiative like that? Like, as you said, like it's great to say you're going to do stuff, and like I'm the worst procrastinator in the world. I'll say I'll do stuff, I never do it. But obviously, you had to start from somewhere. Like, what were the building blocks to get to where you wanted to be with the initiative?
I think the biggest thing for me was just to just to tell someone, uh, just to go to someone in the front office and in Birmingham and just say, hey, you know what? I'm actually thinking of trying to do this initiative and raise money for this inner city school, and I want Birmingham to help me kind of promote it. And that's as much as it takes. And they're like, yeah, I love that idea. What do you want to do for it? And I'm like, oh, I have my plans at home. And that's when I'm like, okay, now I have to do it. Now they're expecting it. And it was the one step of just telling someone and kind of committing, and not necessarily doing the plans too much. And I'll learn as I go along, but sometimes it's just about taking the step, and you don't always know where the step's going to take you. You don't have to be fully planned to do something, but I knew if I took the step and I started talking to people, it would keep me accountable for doing it. And I met some of the kids that I talked to about, and I said, yeah, now I'm going to work to do it and figure out a way to get this done. And I was able to raise the money we wanted, and we hit our goal. And I was very excited. I didn't have everything that I did. I wasn't 100% planned it out before I started it. I had some things planned out, and I said, let's figure it out as we go along. And if I don't do it now, maybe I don't do it tomorrow. But if I let's just do it. Let's just do it now. And if we fail, you know, we'll still raise $1,000, which is better than nothing. Or we'll still do we'll still get some gear for the kids. And that's not what we wanted, but it's better than nothing. It's better than me sitting here and being like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no way I can't see myself doing it. Yeah, I can't see myself doing it because I haven't done it yet. Now I've done it, and I can see myself doing it, and I can picture it. And my dream has just gotten stronger, and I see it getting even better now that I'm in Halifax doing it once. So
from experience, I can definitely say that the club will definitely help you with whatever you kind of you plan to do, because they've been so supportive of the clubs here in the city, and they've done a lot of stuff for United Way and stuff like that. So it's a big part of who the club is and what the city is for everybody to help each other. So you're definitely going to get the support if you ever decide to do something like that here. So yeah, man, we'll all definitely pitch in and help you out. So do you think that you made some new football players with the kids that you were helping out in Birmingham?
yeah, I thought there was, I hate to say it, there's some kids that scored some penalties on me. They did some celebrations, and I wasn't happy because I couldn't actually stop the goal. You know, when someone actually scores on you and you let a little kid score, and you're like, it's okay, then I let you score. There's a couple in there where they scored, and I had no chance. So that's it. That's also exciting to see the joy. You know, they score on you, and when you let it go in, you're just kind of like, I love to still see you smile and enjoy it. And then there's sometimes when they score on you and they celebrate, and you know you couldn't save it, and they're like, you probably just let it in. And I'm like, yeah, I just let it in. But I'm like, no. So it's very, 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 very cool. And you get, I think you can see it. Once you do it once, you can see it may not mean as much maybe to you in the moment, and you might not see it, how much it impacts someone. But in the end, later, this could be a moment in their life where they're like, I remember when a guy from Birmingham Legion, they might not remember my name, but they might remember the feeling it gave them that day when someone from the Legion, the professional team in their city, came and showed interest in their soccer ability and told them, hey, you're good enough. And so that's very special. It only takes one person to tell you that you're good enough to do something, and watch when you say that to someone, how much they grow and how much confidence it gives them.
That's awesome. So yeah, I just had a quick question about like Birmingham. Obviously, American football is the the biggest sport down there. So how's the soccer community coming together in a city like that? Is it, because obviously it's difficult to try and turn people from a sport like American football to soccer. Like, what was the community like down there?
It's very good. It's definitely new. You got Alabama football. You have people yelling "Roll Tide" out the window for no other reason than just Roll Tide. But it's a very popular sport, and it's a very dominant sport, football down there, and they're just sports people. And I think you always can find a good group of soccer fanatics in any city, in any state, province, or country. And they definitely had a good support system there, and people that cared and showed up game after game. So it was really cool to see too.
So, your last game for them was obviously the playoff game when I think you played against your old team in the went to a really long penalty shootout. So, how was that game for you? Like, what was the feelings at the end? Like, did you know that you were gonna not come back next year? Like, what was the emotions?
I was definitely, you're thinking of the game and the way it panned out. It was a bitter ending, and always a little bittersweet because you're excited for the hard work you put in, and not everything went bad through the season. But obviously, only one person leaves the whole season ending on a good note. Everyone else, there's only one winner, so everyone else kind of leaves a little sad. We didn't win, and it hurts a little bit every time. And even to have it that close and to be in that fashion hurts a bit. But I think it ultimately will bring the community closer together, and it'll gear them up for next year. So I think as much as it hurts, it kind of fuels them and shows them that there's a chance next year, and they're just going to be better prepared, and they're gonna give a good fight again next year. I know for sure.
You kind of mentioned your brother and your dad there. So was soccer like a big part of your childhood growing up, and what are your kind of like earliest football memories?
Oh, definitely a big football family here. Um, yeah, everyone's played it at least once, from my mom to my dad to my sister to my brother. And my earliest football memories, I think, are sitting, and it's I don't even know if it's I actually played a game, but I got a jersey, and I just got to sit on the bench with my sister's team. And you don't realize it's you and then three other girls just sitting next to you. You just notice that I got a watermelon in my hand and an orange slice in the other hand, and I'm just living life, and uh, I was super excited. I got to hang out with my sister and her friends, and as the young brother, the youngest of the three, you're always trying to bug your elders and trying to hang out with their friends. So it was a really cool experience for me to just sit there and get a trophy at the end of the year and wear a jersey with them. So that's my earliest memory, playing on an all girls team, orange slices and trophies. So doesn't get much better than that, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. My last question for you. We do this on every episode. So you're going to play in a five-a-side tournament. From the players you've played with, who gets on your team?
Oh, it's a tough one. Am I the manager?
It's up to yourself, man. You can include yourself or put yourself.
Obviously, I'm putting myself in there. Easy. I'm gonna make it a goalie. One of my friends, Alex P. You'll know who he is. We got Jordan Dover. We need some attacking, but I'm gonna throw my brother in there.
Nice.
Evan James, yeah, good attacker. Yeah, center mid. Let's just throw Vol Fall in there in the middle. And my dad's always wanted to play on a five-a-side team and be on a professional environment, so he's gonna get the next spot there for me.
Love it. That's awesome. So it's been great to get to know you a little bit better. I'm sure, as I said, like the city here, the fans are really excited for you to get here, man. It's they've all seen your pedigree and your experience and stuff like that, and the fact you've chosen to come to Halifax. We're all really excited. We're really excited for the new manager and to see all the players. So thank you so much for hanging out, man, and hopefully get to see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. It was a great time to get to know you a little bit more and talk.
Cheers, buddy.
Vote, please. Right foot, please. Time to drink on, folks. Get out. Out to